Welcome to Nürburgring Nordschleife. This is a 24-hour event that I joined. Found a team on Reddit, of all places. So to kind of go through this event, I figured I'd show my fastest lap, which starts here, turn 1, turn 2. So that is a shortcut, a jink that they've put in to cut off some of the GP circuit. This is the 24-hour layout. This is what they would competitively run in real life. The GP circuit here is just so different from the North Loop, the Nordschleife. Wide, flat turns, off camber, big swooping angles, lots of runoff. It's just it's like the opposite of everything I love about the Nordschleife. I'm not good through this section. So what you'll see on the screen is I have my real-time telemetry up top, gas, brake, clutch. This is an auto blip car, so it's automatically using my clutch with the gearbox, and it's blipping on downshifts. So you can see a blip there. That wasn't me. It's also showing these lines where you can kind of see how I'm doing my input. One of the things that I've really am trying, the next level of my car handling is simultaneous gas and brake. You can't be binary with the pedals. You have to manage the chassis as it's floating on its suspension. So dramatic gas brake, it's going to lunge forward and backwards, and you just can't do that and drive safely. So you'll see me carry both pedals a lot. Now we've just entered the Nordschleife section. This is on lap 10 of my stint. I stopped for fuel at lap 7. I did not change my tires, so these tires have done over 100 kilometers. Right there you can see them slide away, the ABS traction control kicking in. The settings are pretty juiced. I think the traction control is 7 out of 10, ABS is 10 out of 10. That was flood pots, I believe that's what it's called. You can see the arrow kind of flatlines at about 170 miles per hour without someone in front. The trick is you want the assist to be there. You want to know that you're engaging them, but you don't want them to hinder your performance too much. My least favorite sections here, heading up this hill. It's so dangerous, and at the same time, it's all rhythm. I do a pretty good job here, just barely missing the inside curbs here. Leaning on the rear axle. This is a 911 GT3R, was a car that we selected. Paint scheme is the team's livery. And what I'll do here is I'll switch to one of the moments I had in a different stint. So same part of the track, what we just were going through, different time of day. Here's an example of me almost losing it at 140. From the TV angle, you can see the livery. The black is actually all the rubber that's kind of splattered on this. It has a bit of a texture anyway, but there's definitely rubber. There's a bit of an aero interference, but more importantly, you can just see it there. My inside left got unsettled. It kind of clipped this curb, unsettling the car. It's so slight. And then the ABS traction control kicked in, but I was a passenger for that. I mean, my momentum is totally thrown off here. And I make one correction, and then I recorrect. And had I hit that grass at 100 miles per hour, I mean, that car is gone into the barriers and destroyed. So here it is again, properly. I mean, we're talking inches. That one was clean by an inch. The other one was dirty by an inch. And That's the difference. This is one of my favorite sections on the track. That was the three-way rights is what they call that. Into that, one of the hardest braking zones on the track. You see that again from my gyro camera, give you an idea. I like to go to 5th to 4th so that I have you want that 4th power band to be in your favor. And you gotta ride it. This Porsche, it only turns if you're on throttle. If you're leaning on the front end, it's going to understeer. You have to steer with the rear axle. Another scary turn right there at Windmill. Oh, and I pushed the limits heading up the hill here. So I also have the relative enabled, so you can see that I'm catching someone in front of me. There are many positions beneath me, or what is it, 28th? So I'm currently, my team's 14th here. This is one of the main straights. This is where you're going to max out aerodynamically. And this car is horsepower limited, so I don't even shift into 6th here. I would just lose RPM. You got to stay top end 5th. Oh, that turn is flat, but I mean, why risk it? You only gain a 10th or 2. So you can see these little throttle dips that I do just to get the car rotation. So here we come up to some traffic. Switching back to gyro camera, we'll head into carousel. It really shows how dramatic that incline is. This guy does a brilliant job, just throttle lifting, doesn't compromise my line that much. This is my favorite section heading up here. I mean, that's a great example of you have to see the car, but you got to look through the car. You have to find a line. Like, don't hit him, but at the same time, like, what is he doing? I really made some good judgment there. He had the perfect throttle lift and didn't come back to the line, so that was fantastic. And you can just see me carving all the way through here. I can't even describe all of the little corrections, the little adjustments that I'm making here. It's being in the moment. Again, this is on the 10th lap with this set of tires. I knew it with the start of the lap. I'm just like, this feels perfect. The track conditions, everything just feels right on. Oh, a little bit of air. We'll switch to the rear chase camera here. Yeah, like coming in 5th to 4th again on that jump, and use that upshift to 4th, that spike in the throttle blip to keep the RPMs high and lots of speed in that rear axle. Flat carving through here. Comes the little carousel, very dangerous turn. Because if you spill out too early, that camber dips away to your right and you wreck your car. Oh, pushing the limits to the left. You can see those throttle lifts in the line graph. So I lost some speed, but generally speaking, I used all the track. So that's basically the lap. So now I'll cut to basically my closest altercation with another car. So this happened in a different stint. I forget when exactly. You'll see a car in my rearview mirror, which is the digital screen in the dash. This is all the way back at the beginning of the Nordschleife, the beginning of the North Loop. So he is one of 3 cars that's behind me. He is currently 3rd. That team is 3rd, and I'm 13th, I believe, at this point. He just pitted the lap before, so he has brand new tires and a whole bunch of fuel. About 100 liters of fuel. Meanwhile, this is my last lap before pitting and ending my stint. So my car is light as hell, very fast. And so here he is gaining in the slipstream. So I thought, okay, if he flashes his headlights at me, I'll let him through. But he doesn't. So I'm like, okay, well, I guess he wants to stick around for the second straight here, just do some fuel saving. But he decides to really ride my rear bumper and doesn't tuck in very well, which is a little scary when they're on a different line like that. Because right about at this time, I received a private message that I see in the chat window from his team saying, hey, can you yield? And I thought, well, he hasn't flashed his blinkers that he's going to be making a pass, but sure, I can yield. Like, I don't have an issue with this. But I'm a little upset that I'm like, why do you have to text me? Why do I have to read? I have, you know, a light car. Why isn't he just tucking in for a fuel save? So I thought, all right, fine. The next safest spot at low speed, don't yield at high speed, is right here. So I tuck in, and I decided to follow his ass. I'm like, all right, well, I'll do some fuel saving. You can see the other 2 guys behind me. I believe one of those is actually is for position, although he's on a different lap than I am. There's that triple right-hander, felt pretty good. Coming down this very difficult braking zone, you look at the difference of my light fuel being able to stop it. He runs deep. So now, I think this is at 11 p.m. at night for my stint. Oh! I mean, that's another great example of if you stare at a bumper, if you tailgate, you will follow them into their mistake. So here it is from the front bumper camera of the guy behind me. And I already lose it. Like, I was reacting to myself, realizing I'm coming in here too fast. And I was already making the correction. And then simultaneously, he is losing it. So here it is from the TV camera. You can see all of us grouped up. His flies away. I made the correction before that. Smacks into the wall. And then another classic thing of Nordschleife is, well, now what do? You're in a concrete corridor. Looks like he doesn't have a button or a pedal for neutral, so he has to do that little maneuver. So lucky he didn't get hit. So anyway, cutting back to the end of my fastest lap. It was a tiring event. Emotionally, mentally, physically very draining, but I did accomplish something I'm quite proud of, and that's right here. I did 42 laps for the team, and I had 0 incidents. I never spun, hit another car, didn't have 2 wheels go outside the track. I had a clean run. And I checked the numbers of the thousands of people that signed up for this event over the weekend. There's less than 100 of us that did a full, clean participation. And I'm pretty proud of that. We finished 14th, which is not bad. And yeah, overall, it was a good experience.